Hi there. I hope that you are really, really well. You've clicked onto this video because the title has got you thinking. And there's something about this particular emotion or this feeling of fear and anxiety that really gets my blood pumping. You see, a lot of the times we live our lives guided by the fear and the anxiety that we may feel before moving into or leaning into something that is beautifully big and luscious and warm, but also that exudes this essence of growth. And I've noticed this so much with women in particular. I don't know, men just don't seem to think about it this way. They have a very different way of thinking about it. And that's not to say no man thinks this way. It's just when you look at the psychology of a man versus a woman, there are slight differences. And I see this more with women, is that they want lives of freedom, they want abundance, they want unadulterated joy, and they want to live a life that is limitless. But there is something that's stopping them from doing that. And the only reason that I can see this is because that was me once. I was that person. I was the person who, not that I didn't lean into things, but I would subconsciously self-sabotage my life so that I couldn't experience the joy that I so deeply wanted. I couldn't experience unlimited abundance. And you know what? I still do that today. I still have moments where I have to catch myself thinking things or coming to conclusions that are not real, or trying to really make things complicated when they are really simple and easy. If this sounds like you, then I want to take you on a little bit of a journey of how I kind of stop those things in their tracks, those ways of being, how I use my essential oils to kind of create this aromatic anchor for myself, and just to support my dreams, my vision. You see, the one thing that I get up every morning for, I work in my own business, and sometimes it's tough. Sometimes, you got to do things that you don't want to do, or that you're scared of doing. You got to pick up the phone and call someone that you don't really want to speak to, or you're scared of rejection, you have a fear of people not liking you, or whatever it is, whatever is your Achilles heel, let's work through that together. So first, there's the commitment. There's the commitment to feeling the fear and doing it anyway. So this is not going to eradicate the fear and anxiety in your life. And I do have a disclaimer and a caveat on this one, right? If you suffer from any mood disorders or depression or anything that has been clinically diagnosed, then please continue to see your doctor, your physician, whoever's looking after you. These are just tools that you can kind of add to the mix, right? And if you do feel that these are not working for you and that you need to seek some help, then seriously, guys, go and do that, because there's nothing better than having someone take care of you and look after your mental health. All right, so with that aside, excuse me, my nose is really itchy. So with that aside, you have to be fully committed. You can't say you want these things and then, pull out halfway. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it. And let me tell you that it's not going to be smooth sailing all the time, that you're going to have to rise up and do it anyway. no matter what you're feeling. So number one is that commitment. Yeah, commitment that you're going to do it. Number two is starting to tap in. Where does this feeling actually come from? So there are so many different resources that you can read, listen to, watch, talking about childhood traumas, upper limiting beliefs, so many different books on fear and anxiety. And I might put a couple of links down below in this blog post, or a link to the blog post, at least, depending on where you're watching this from, that have really guided me in my journey, that have really helped me see the light. This doesn't say that these books gave me my answers, because there's a lot of self-reflection and svadhyaya, like we say in yoga, this study of the self. These books are not going to give you the answer. You're the only one who has the answer to these questions. So there's got to be the commitment to studying what's within and connecting to your inner self and your soul and your superstar, whatever you want to call it, so that you can understand the way that you're reacting, or the reasons that you're reacting in a certain way. So commitment, and then commitment. Commitment to actually seek the truth, and commitment that you're going to see it through. Those two things. And then you go through this journey, and who knows, it may take you a month, it may take you a year, it may take you 5 years, it may take you more. Who knows? But at some point, you're going to realize what it was that created this feeling, the original feeling, where it came from, right? And then how that kind of works its way throughout your whole life. And this is the empowering part, because once you recognize it, then you can start to be really conscious and aware of how you are replaying that exact same situation, but in different areas of your life. So I'm going to give you an example here, right? I had a serious, and probably still do, it's a work in progress for me, but a serious case of self-sabotage. So I had this limiting belief that finding love, I'm very happily married. My husband and I have been together now for 4 and a bit years. But I had this self-sabotaging belief that if I am successful, if I am wealthy, if I am doing really great in my business and in my life, and I have a lot of friends, and I'm just kind of, really happy, that he's going to leave me. Now, for those who know my husband, that's just not, it's never going to happen. He's never going to leave me, because he's incredible and we're in love. 1 second. Marvin, buddy, let's go inside. Hopefully that's it. But yet, I still had this belief that if I was all of those things, he was going to leave me. And this is a deep-seated belief from my childhood. I come from a divorced home, and whatever I picked up, there were certain things that I picked up, between the ages, between when I was conceived up until the age of about 7. This is where the human brain is really developing and creating its own stories and limiting beliefs. So I picked up these stories along the way that that created what I thought was the reality of my life. And I would constantly, in my adult life and in my business, self-sabotage my success. I would, just do things that I knew were going to limit the amount of happiness and success that I could experience in my life and in my business. So I would sabotage classes that I was hosting so that not many people turned up, because then I could sit in my victimhood and say, nobody turned up to my classes. I must be a failure. Therefore, I am nothing and I'm unhappy. Therefore, he will love me. How ridiculous is that? But that's actually how it worked. That's what happened. And so it was me taking the initiative to try, or the commitment, not the initiative, the commitment to figuring out what it was, what those belief systems were that helped me recreate my story and rewrite my story. And this is how I rewrote my story. So that whole process of self-development and self-study took a long time. It took a long time for me. That may take shorter for you. It may take longer than it did for me. Who knows? It's your path, and it's the way that you know your life is going. You get to choose that, how long it takes. But once I'd figured that out, I was super committed to squashing my limiting beliefs and to truly connecting with who I am and the successful, beautiful, attractive business and woman that I am. And he loves me for that, right? So I committed to figuring out what that was. I committed to making sure that I was going to be aware and conscious in my life, so that I made sure that those things don't trip me up. I don't self-sabotage anymore. I'm very, very happy to say that. Okay. And how I did those things was, whenever I felt a bout of self-sabotage coming in, instead of looking out into the world for validation and for answers, I sat in stillness. And this could look like anything for you. For me, it was meditation and a yoga practice. It was staring out into the blue sky and with a cup of tea in my hand sometimes. But generally, it was essential oils that really helped me get there. These little guys. I used essential oils to create this aromatic anchor for me. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to solve it, but whenever I felt that I was searching external, I would find one of the practices that I felt suited me for the day: meditation, yoga, stillness, walking, whatever. And I created a blend of essential oils that helped me aromatically anchor into my commitment to eradicating self-sabotage from my life. It's pretty cool. So how the brain works is that, you know, you've walked into a bakery before where you've smelt the beautiful smell of baking bread, and, you know, it takes you back somewhere. Or you walk into someone's home and you smell something and you remember that your grandmother was someone who cooked that exact meal and who loved baking whatever it was, right? It takes you straight back. You get transported back in time. This is the power of scent and smell. You walk past someone in the street and they're wearing the same cologne or aftershave that your dad used to wear, and you think about your dad, or your husband wears and you think about your husband. So the connection that we have with our scent, with the sense of smell, is like so unbelievably powerful. I don't think we actually grasp the magnitude and how incredibly powerful it is. So I created a blend that reminded me of my commitment. And it took a couple of times, but I would sit with my blend. Now, I did this with balance. I didn't have to, create my own blend. You can do this with a doTERRA blend that's already created. You know, I blend for so many other things in my life, for other aromatic anchors, but for this particular one, balance just had it all. You know, frankincense is one of my all-time favorite oils. He is just the light in my life, and he is the seeker of the truth. So for me, having him in this blend was like a given, right? But I would open up the lid. Of course I would open up the lid, duh. And I would have a beautiful big whiff, either from the bottle, or I would do this. One drop in the palm. Rub my palms together. And I can smell it now. Cup my palm over my nose, my mouth, close my eyes and breathe. And as I'm inhaling, I am drawing into my body the power that is the essential oil, the power that it has on my memory, and creating this anchor in my heart and my soul. It's reminding me what's important. It's reminding me of my commitment to seeking the truth and to be true to myself, and to also be in the flow that my vision holds for me. Like my vision just opens up this flow of, I suppose, this reverence almost, right? And so it's with doing those simple practices, it actually sounds too simple to be true. It sounds like this simple thing is not going to get you anywhere. But I can promise you, hand on heart, that these simple practices of stillness, of scent, of smell, of tapping in, of really going within, is going to give you the courage and the strength to stay true to who you really are and what it is that you really want in your life. No more lip service, no more victimhood, no more bullshit. I'm calling it. All of that stuff is just bullshit. If it is important to you, you will make it work. And there are so many tools out there for you to use. Yeah, so many beautiful tools that you can harness, learn about other people's tools and even their mistakes, what they did and how they got themselves out of it. Please do as much research as you can, because the time of being a victim is over. So over. I hope that you found this helpful. I hope that if you know someone in your life that is struggling with this, or that can help, that this can help, that you pass this message on. I hope that if you do not have essential oils in your life, that you either contact me or the person who's referred you to this video. My email address is Arianna, ARIANNA, at ariannapinar, PIENAAR.com. I would be so honored to help you with this journey of both self-discovery and also learning how to use your oils to tap into this emotional body and the emotional center that can redefine the rest of your life. Thank you.